on, guys? Riv here for Wildcat Entertainment, and welcome back to Riv's Game Room. Today I've got some unreleased games. So, should you emulate Universal Soldier? Yes, you should. It has the Contra meets Turrican vibe, and Turrican is really good. Contra is a classic. Definitely emulate this one. I've got one more game over on the Genesis to show you. Let's hop over there real quick for you. One on the Super Nintendo, one on the Genesis. So you know what? I'd say let's get right into it. This is The Shadow on the Super Nintendo. Now this is based on an old DC comic, I think. Let me pull up my page here to see when it was supposed to be released. God, there was supposed to be a Thunder in Paradise game on the Super Nintendo. Okay, there it is. Supposed to be released in 1994. And it was going to be by Ocean Software. Well, granted, Ocean's history, maybe it was a good thing this was canceled, but let's find out. I can't remember why this was canceled. If you can remember, let me know in the comments. Times Square, there should be an S on there. Also not sure how far the development this was. Anyway, why punches at 8 as your special? Odd way to do things. Just your regular beat 'em up? Which could be why this was canceled. By this time, the market was full of beat 'em ups. You still had Final Fight roaming's pretty strong, I think. I believe... I don't remember, but I think Streets of Rage 3 might have already been out was released by this point. Could be partially why this was not released. Oh, there's a little glitch for you. Yeah, that's what you're gonna see with some of these unreleased games. Some of the sprites might glitch a little bit. I'm not gonna count off for that because this is clearly an unfinished, unreleased game. I'm going to correct myself. I said in the intro that we were going to do one on the Super Nintendo, one on the Genesis. I'm going to throw in one more on the Super Nintendo that I know I have. That I'd like to show you. Got a lot of glitchy enemies, but the graphics actually look quite nice. The gameplay is looking good. I'd say fix some of these sprites and you got a pretty good game. Musically, it's generic, but the dark music kind of fits the mysterious, brooding main character, the Shadow. Now, I don't know a lot about Marvel or DC Comics, so if there's somebody in the comments that's a fan of either of these, let me know. Let me know more about it, because this is one character I'd like to know about. Okay, so the question is this like Streets of Rage where using your special is gonna end up taking off your damage bar? Yes, it is, because I can't use the special anymore. I have to find some health. So basically, this reminds me of what Streets of Rage would have been like on the Super Nintendo, I think. It would have looked better on the Genesis than it did on the Genesis, I think. Probably getting crucified in the comments for saying that, but oh well. Come at me. I don't see... Unless it was because it was just a glut of games like this already out there, I honestly, goodness, I can't see why this was canceled. Like I said, you fix up the sprites a little bit, and you got a good game here. Now, I'm going to do final thoughts a little different. Since these were never released, I'm going to say if you should emulate them or not. Because even though they were unreleased physically, you could still play them. You know where to get them, and I'm not going to tell you where to get them. Because legally I can't. Anyways, let's say we go do final thoughts right about now. I'll be right back with those in just a second. So, should you emulate the Shadow? I'd say so. I mean, it just needed some sprite work. This would look like from the level that I've played, it looked like it might have been about 40 to 50% done. But definitely go emulate this. I'm not going to tell you where to find these games. You'll have to Google them yourself. Anyway, definitely try out the Shadow if you can. Anyway, we've got another Super Nintendo game and another Genesis game to go, so let's get right back. And as the screen says, this is Universal Soldier. Originally made and canceled in 1993 by Accolade. More than likely, this was because Accolade was going out of business. Probably the reason at the time was probably the reason for this cancellation. Universal Soldier, based on the movie. I don't know much about the movie, so I won't be sprinkling in much on that. By the way, though, this is Universal Soldier. Why does this sound like a 16-bit Limp Bizkit song? Or not Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park song. Sounds like a 16-bit version of Paper Cut almost. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, I like this game already. There's one flaw right there. Up should never be jumped unless you're playing any game. Thankfully, though, Y is also jump for whatever reason. A is your special. The Shadow had that, and it kind of worked in that game. It's okay. Actually, it looks a lot like Turrican. Which is a game we will be playing sooner rather than later. Musically, the game, it fits the game. Like I said, I'm not going to compare it to the movie because I've not ever seen Universal Soldier. I guess you don't know. I should be able to fire up. Super Metroid, you were able to fire up, same as regular Metroid. Graphically, it's alright, it's dark, it's dingy, but it kind of fits the idea, I guess. And just be aware, you're gonna be dying a lot. Feels like you have unlimited lives here, I'm not for sure. Unless, yeah, you have a hit meter below. Every time you die, you take the hit win is taken off. If your hit meter down there on the right above your score is depleted, then you lose another hit win and a life after it hits away. Well, that's an interesting way to go about it. I like what Accolade was doing here. This wasn't released, but again, I'm assuming it's because they went out of business. So wait a minute. I thought I lost that hit point yet. Okay, I can't get out of here. There we go. I think you have infinite lives here. I'm not entirely sure on this. Pretty decent game. I mean, I'd say if you want a game, don't play something like this, play Turrican or Contra. This obviously looks like it takes very heavily from Contra. Of course I'm going to pass the stage. Now you can't tell me that doesn't sound like something out of a Linkin Park track. And now the music changes, and so do the graphics. I like this level. Okay, so those will get you restored. I guess the lives part doesn't work here. Yeah, this definitely started to remind me of Contra with the weapons you can get. That's a good thing. Contra's awesome. This could have been an amazing game. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm almost sure they released this on the Genesis. I'll have to check my collection. I remember seeing this in video stores when I was young. Anyways, that'll round it out for Universal Soldier. Final thoughts in just a minute. So, should you emulate Universal Soldier? Yes, you should. It has the Contra meets Turrican vibe, and Turrican is really good. Contra is a classic. Definitely emulate this. I've got one more game over on the Genesis to show you. Let's hop over there real quick. And this is the unreleased Genesis version of, you guessed it, Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat. This is released on the NES, and I think the people why this one was I guess and we're ready. How do I start? Okay, there we go. Start next race. Interesting top-down perspective. It looks like maybe micro. It reminds me kind of micro machines, or maybe a better version of Super Sprint. Graphically, the game is really good. But there's no music. I'd like some music here, but Get out, ask Sherwin-Williams. Okay, I'll get my go. That didn't make sense at all. I tried. Graphically, yeah, it's just another top-down racer. Kind of reminds me again of like the games I've already mentioned, or I'm going to throw in another one here. Kind of reminds me of RC Pro-Am about the rest. Okay, so you can get more than one race. That's good. Okay, I'm on a Super Nintendo controller. That Y is the button you want to accelerate. I'm almost sure this would take a 6-button Genesis controller if I'm using Y to accelerate. Weird idea there. Usually A and B. But I'll take it. Yeah, X is brake in this case. Like I said, it's a good game graphically. You can get some music. I feel like they could have, the guys that actually could have been, the guys doing this game could have actually released it. They had already done an NES and a Super NES. I believe a Super NES version. I'd have to again check. The thing is, this top-down view works. I think I would have actually done it like Monaco GP on the Genesis instead. Could have taken lessons from Sega and Super Monaco GP. All I'm going to say on that. I would just put on some music for just mute. The motor sound was great on it. Get out of the way. Everything was decent. I mean, I feel like this could have sold pretty well. Anyway, I'll be right back with final thoughts on Danny Sullivan Indie Heat in just a second. So, final thoughts on Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat and the games we played today. First off, Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat. The only reason I know about this one is because Pat the NES Punk made it a recurring joke in his podcast. Anyways, that said, Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat is one you should emulate. Pretty decent racer, and I honestly don't get why it wasn't released. You'd already had, like I said, I believe an NES and a Super NES version. Universal Soldier? I like it. I mean, like I said, it's like what you would get if you mixed Hurricane and Contra. The only thing missing, replace the up as jump button with a way to shoot up. And you'd have a perfect Genesis shooter then. As for, let's see, what was that other one? As for the first game we played, I already pointed out what it was. Yeah, emulate that one. Emulate all of these, actually. Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for Riv's Game Room, and remember, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Goodbye, everyone.